I am back in the world of Wurm Online. That's right, it's been quite a while since I've done a video for the YouTubes. Seems like a couple months, maybe. Originally, my plan had been to just take a break right around E3, since that's a busy time for the audio podcast. I do WonderPod, which you should go listen to. It's on iTunes. Only shameless plug you'll hear. And then I fell into what's known as a worm coma, which this game can produce. For those of you that don't know, Wurm is a survival game. It's also very intensive. If you like things that are grindy, Wurm Online is for you. And I have quite a number of friends here, including the ever-lovable Agent K, who I play games with. And he and I both have been speaking to English, playing this game a lot. So what I thought I'd do to kind of dip my toes back in the water of the tubes is to show you around my deed and show you what I've been doing. Now, if you dig way back on my channel, I did one of these about a year ago, and if you believe Agent K, I sounded a lot younger then. I actually think I sound better in my videos now, but it's probably not for me to judge. Anyways, I'm standing on the edge of what is known as a deed in Wurm Online. I may have explained this in the old video. I can't be bothered to go watch it. This is on their most recently added server, Xanadu. Original, I know. Came here about a year back, got set up, and then just kind of took a long break with Agent K and I playing a lot of games. And I've really kind of dug back into it now. Did a lot of the terraforming, and then decided to just start building. It's a game that takes a lot of effort and a lot of hours, but the satisfaction you get out of completing things is very, very similar to, or as close to, real-life stuff as I've ever played. It does mean that you're gonna give this game an extreme amount of time. This is what I like to call the upper deck. I'm planning a building right here. I don't know yet what it's gonna be. Somebody has made what's known as a 3D planter. I may actually finally use that. Time will tell. This is a farm field, growing all kinds of different stuff. This is being worked by my priest alt. Yeah, that's right. I couldn't help stop at this character. I had to have two. That is where my priest lives, the aptly named Priest Pit. That might change, because I kind of made this pretty much inescapable, so it looks like my priest lives in an insane asylum. For those of you that have played Wurm and haven't played in a while, this type of wall down here, the timber frame is new. Those have always been in. I kind of look at this building as an R&D house. It's something I just wanted to see what the different windows look like, what the different wall types look like. You can see the fireplace up there in the top left corner. So I just kind of been playing around. I hadn't built these type of fences yet. So the funny thing is it's the only game I've ever played where when a building no longer suits my needs or I no longer like it, I have to give considerable thought to just demolishing it because of how many hours it can take to build one of these. Now this one, maybe 2 to 4 hours to build, and I'm just trying to fill the space. If you go back and watch my original video, that deed to me on my old server, Exodus, was maybe a little over half to 3/4 done. My goal with this one is to completely finish it, meaning that there's really not much left for me to do unless I expand it. Now, that probably is going to be what happens. It tends to happen to me when I'm in Wurm. I expand my property holdings, how I won't bore you with, and just then get bored and suck it back in. And it sounds more complicated than it is. But this is the upper part. I haven't done a ton here. We got lights and all that fun stuff. And Up in front here, guard tower. Guard towers have kind of become my way of marking where I've been. I think this is guard tower number 7 that has my name on it. You can't see my name on it because there's usually a little window down here in the lower right-hand corner of the screen where you can examine things. But yeah, I think this is Bruce McGee, like 680 or some silly shit. I don't know, but I build them a lot of places. And the reason I use them as markers is because when you're not on a deed, things like buildings and other stuff decay. These do too, but at a much slower rate than like this shop building behind me. This was my first building here when I was still doing the terraforming. Oh, and yeah, the towers produce these tower guard dudes. This tends to be any more how I build deeds. I kind of almost do it in Minecraft too. It's pathetic, but it works for me. I get a certain amount of terraforming done, and then I get tired of living in caves like this, which I am known to do. And so I plop up a shop, and sometimes the shop stays throughout the entire life of the deed, and sometimes the shop goes. It's got a couple of stories, you know, all that fun stuff. And then as you go down here, we got a trash barrel, bin, a catapult that's supposed to be all blingy and glowy because it's rare, but it doesn't. This is the one building I may blow up. I don't know what I was thinking, but if Glacinator ever watches this video, my wonderful podcast co-host, he's going to laugh because this is quite literally the squarest worm building I think I've ever built. I was under the delusion that it was going to look a little better, / they were going to get us decorations for the outside that weren't a ginormous pain in the ass to use in an update, and that has not happened. There's just a lot of bricks and mortar in that building that I really can't push the poof button. The most recent building I built on this deed was this one, and it's called the House of Doors. Now, the reason it's called the House of Doors has nothing to do with the Doors music group or the House of the Rising Sun. It kind of got its nickname from my good buddy and someone else who's been in one of my older videos, Quiglin, because this building was actually originally built, or the first incarnation of it, I built on Exodus, our old server. And so I kept talking about wanting to rebuild it, and I'll explain to you why it's called the House of Doors. Although now you could probably call it the House of Windows, because if you step over here with my OCD and love of symmetry, you'll see, hopefully, that it's going through every window, and I'm looking at my lovely cog ship, the Maiden Mare, out the back. So, yeah, that's kind of what I am. I'm a lunatic when it comes to symmetry. Not always, but the bulk of the time. But this is why it's called the House of Doors, because there's fucking doors everywhere. My reasoning for building this originally is, you probably noticed a large cart with a couple little horses on it a while ago. Oh, thank you, Leg. I wanted a set of buildings and workshops that I could just go in and out of, not have to turn around and do all the silly other stuff they make you do, especially once they put these bad boy wagons in. They're even more ridiculous. So I just wanted doors on every side. The one on EXO never was screenshotted or videoed, but the difference between that one and this one is all this up on the second level was not really there. I had kind of like a corner and then the parapets. And then, because I'm horrible, really doesn't have much to do with the fact I'm male. It's just I'm horrible about decorating anything. Ask Glacinator. I had a very lovely friend of mine decorate the inside of this for me. Now, part of the reason I'm horrible about it is because some of the stuff here, where you get the pretties and the princess approved stuff, I don't have the skill to make it because I refuse to skill up the skills it takes. Well, that's not entirely true. I have some of the skills. I just don't see them as top priority to get them up high enough to do a lot of this stuff. So I asked her if she was interested in decorating at least a bedroom for me, and she did. I on the podcast and other places you may see me bitch a lot about this game and some of the developer choices. But when I was contemplating doing another Deed Tour video, I went back and actually watched the first one. I realized just how far this game has come. Which is good in a lot of ways, but it's also kind of sad for the fact that there's so many basic things that if they'd fix or tweak or just get over being stubborn about, this game could be 20 or 30 times better than it is. It truly could. And it wouldn't take much. Even with Java, which I'm obviously not a fan of. So, yeah. To close out... wait a minute. You guys really want to see my horse pens? I'll show you my horse pens. Horse pens with 2 sheep that never stop moving because, yeah, that's how sheep work. Not sheep I've known. Yeah, horse pens. Enchanted grass. The wonderful person that decorated my place is sitting over there. Probably where the mouse pointer is. I recently found out from YouTube Etiquette 101 that people don't like mouse pointers. Fuck off. But yeah, and then my pal Quiglin lives over in that direction, and Agent K lives back that way. And yeah, then I have boats. That's a sailboat. That's an R. That's when we go Viking, because you can crash into things with it. That's a cog. Somebody actually gave that to me. I finally went back and got it. So thank you to the person that gave that to me. Until bridges were introduced recently, which if anybody actually likes this detour video, I can show you some of the cooler bridges that are running around this server. These things were kind of a pain in the ass. But so this is basically my deed in Wurm Online, and a lot of this you're seeing was completed after I came back this time. And funnily enough, when you put a ton of hours into this game, you really don't want to play other games, and you really don't want to do a lot of anything. I mean, people like me who do YouTube and podcasts and other fun stuff as a hobby only have so many hours in a day. And in a lot of cases, that means you make choices. Now, my channel's not huge. Not even freaking close. But YouTube is something I like doing. It's just, like I said, you make choices. And so I've spent my time in Wurm Online hanging out with good friends, doing the things that we do, enjoying the game, and it's kind of, like I said, killed off the YouTube thing. I said in that crash test dummy video, it was only like 30 seconds long, I almost could have freaking periscoped it. Yeah, that's right, the old guy knows what periscope is. Doesn't mean I use it. Sorry, I'm drinking coffee. You'll have to deal with it. And that, I would be back, and in some form or fashion. And I'm kind of hoping I am. Kind of hoping? Yeah. I didn't say Copenhagen. Damn it, I sidetracked myself. Because while I am spending a ton of time in Wurm, I have a couple ideas for video series, or just at least videos I can get multiples of. And that could make it easier for me to both veg out on Wurm Online and continue the process of trying to make decent videos on YouTube. I have to say, though, some of the attitude and bitching and moaning I've seen on YouTube lately just really has kind of turned me off to it. It seems like the internet infests everything, where it just becomes this negative fest of people saying, well, you don't have this and you don't have that, or you copied so-and-so, or you're a fucking idiot, or whatever. And I call people fucking idiots too. Go listen to Wonderpod. There's 260 or so shows that give ample evidence. I do. But not in the way I'm seeing on YouTube a lot of times. And while I like to complain about that in videos like this, it's really not why I stopped doing YouTube beyond my quote-unquote break / worm coma. I just wasn't having fun making the videos that were towards the end of my run there a month or two ago. it just wasn't fun for me. It just didn't feel like me. And honestly, guys, if it's not me and it's not fun for me, I'm not going to do it. I mean, you'll notice when I started this video, there was no, hey guys, yokel, yokel, yokel. Nah, there's not going to be any more of that. I'm just going to tell you what game I'm in. If you don't know who I am by now, well, yeah, okay. It says it right on the channel. McGee's Landing. Stop here and regret it forever. I wonder if I could get that on the banner. Anyway, it just felt like I was trying to be too YouTube to me, and I just went, this is just so not me. It's just not who I am. I am just the jackass who always is going to be obscure, but has a lot of fun fucking doing it. So that's kind of the attitude I have now about YouTube. I'm hoping that by the time this video comes out, a few days after, I will have another video. It's going to be in an old game. It's going to be in a game where people are like, oh my god, why is he doing videos on that? But there's a reason for it. I'm testing a theory, or I'm testing an idea and a concept that may grow into something. Anybody that knows me probably knows, yeah, right. But that's kind of the deal. So this is where I have been spending the bulk of my time, and maybe why I've been more focused on this than doing videos and other things. It's just been a weird dichotomy. I think summer does this to me, but this has been Wurm Online, and so until the next video, fingers crossed, I'm out of here. See ya.